And while every storm is different, and Michael presents challenges that were quite different than Florence, we are once again surrounding the storm with military capability that we can surge forward in support of FEMA, state, and local officials. And one area we're focusing on is early response search and rescue, or SAR capabilities. We have proactively pre-positioned appropriate military capability and capacity to respond immediately from the north, from the south, from the east, and from the west, across the full spectrum of DoD capabilities at every level by air, in coastal and flooded areas, and on the ground. A factor is with the evacuation of some of the local populations. As one of my key concerns right now going into this is we haven't seen as robust of a evacuation response from the civilian population that we have seen in other storms, and I think it's because of the way it kind of played out, and many are very well prepared to go through a Cat 1 or a Cat 2 storm, but it just very quickly gained in intensity, and we're not seeing the numbers in the shelters, and we're not seeing the numbers necessarily going away. So my concern right now is there's many people in harm's way, and so that's why we want to have especially the search and rescue capability there. Besides the high winds, of course, the wind speeds everyone's familiar with, but there's this surge that's going to be a big factor, and it's widespread. It's all the way, obviously right in the area of Tyndall Air Force Base and going to the Big Bend area there, but it's all the way really from Pensacola all the way down through Tampa, where there'll be some impact from the surge. And so that combination of the wind, the surge, the lack of evacuations has us concerned, and that's why we're so robustly prepared to respond. As we look at both the local response capability, and as this storm comes through, we're going to see that unlike Florence, where it kind of stayed right there, we can see it's already moving through. And so the actual recovery effort, I think, will be significantly different. I think, and that's why we're postured not only with the search and rescue from the air and the helicopters, but also with the ground vehicles that will be able to come in, because you can see it's already moving straight forward. So I don't have a number for you per se, but from a capacity standpoint, we are bringing in similar capability and capacity that we did for Florence, but slightly change in the where our focus is because of the fast-moving nature of the storm, and we think we'll be able to get to it by land as well. It's really part of our national response framework, and by design, it starts at the local level, and the local level responds, and then based on the magnitude of the storms, it sometimes exceeds their capability and capacity, and therefore we have the federal system that is then in place to be able to augment and help the states work their way through the challenges that they're faced with. But clearly the intent is that the states, in this case Florida, Georgia, for example, are going to handle the initial response, and then we're going to augment in coordination with FEMA their capabilities.